Congrats, you're a genius, not just smart. We're talking galaxy brain levels of intelligence. While other kids are eating glue, you're already wondering why the universe exists. You're basically speedrunning human consciousness. You get into Oxford because of course you do. You're that guy who doesn't study and still gets A's. Everyone hates you for it. You're cooler than everyone else. I mean, it's not surprising after all. It's Oxford. Everyone there already looks like they collect stamps for fun. Then, life decides to humble you. Hard. You're 21 walking down some stairs like a normal human being, and boom, you trip. Not even dramatically, just a regular, boring trip. But this trip changes everything. You go to the doctor expecting them to say, walk it off. Instead, they hit you with the medical equivalent of a boss fight, ALS, motor neuron disease. Your brain is a Ferrari, but your body is becoming a 1995 Honda Civic with 3 wheels missing. You have 2 years to live, they say. 2 years. That's it. The universe's biggest practical joke, giving you the intelligence to understand infinity while your body has the lifespan of a fruit fly. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a spoon. You have a brain that can calculate black holes, but you can't calculate how to tie your shoes anymore. Plot twist. You don't die. Your body had other plans. Instead of giving up, you double down. You get the chair. You get the robot voice. You basically become a cyborg before cyborgs were even cool. And somehow, this makes you more popular than ever. You're not just a physicist anymore. You're a brand. You're on The Simpsons. You're in Star Trek. You're the world's first celebrity scientist who sounds like a GPS system. You write A Brief History of Time, which becomes a bestseller. Everyone buys it. Nobody understands it. They all pretend they do at dinner parties. Oh yes, Stephen. Brilliant work on the, time stuff. You become the smartest man alive. Capital letters. You're basically the final boss of intelligence. NASA calls you for advice. Einstein is probably rolling in his grave from jealousy. You're living your best life. You're married, you're famous, you're solving the mysteries of the universe. What could possibly go wrong? But here's the thing about being a genius. It gets boring. Really boring. You've figured out how the universe began. You've explained black holes. You've made time travel sound possible. What's left? Most retired people take up golf or gardening. You decide your hobby is traveling. Specifically, traveling to very interesting places with very interesting people. You meet some sketchy billionaires. Really sketchy. The kind of people who own private islands and have hobbies that require a lot of lawyers. But hey, they're funding science, right? You start getting invitations to scientific conferences in very tropical locations. These aren't your typical academic gatherings. No boring hotel conference rooms, no terrible coffee, just sun, sand, and some very questionable research methodologies. Then, your friend gets busted, apparently something to do with an island. The best part? When people start asking uncomfortable questions, you have the ultimate excuse. Your wheelchair battery dies. Your voice box malfunctions. Suddenly, you can't communicate with law enforcement. It's the most genius move in human history. Sorry, officer. I'd love to help with your investigation, but my text-to-speech is updating. You spend years perfecting this technique. FBI shows up, technical difficulties, journalists asking questions, system reboot required. It's beautiful in its simplicity. Meanwhile, you're still publishing groundbreaking research on black holes and time travel, because apparently the same brain that can understand the fundamental nature of reality can also understand how to avoid subpoenas. The duality of man, ladies and gentlemen. You're simultaneously solving the mysteries of the cosmos and becoming one yourself. You're researching both the Big Bang and some significantly smaller bangs that shall remain unnamed. March 14th, 2018. You die. The world mourns. You're remembered as a hero, a genius, the man who made physics cool. Your funeral is attended by world leaders. Eddie Redmayne cries. The internet explodes with tribute posts. You die on Pi Day and Einstein's birthday. Even in death, you're showing off. For years, your legacy is untouchable. You're Saint Stephen of the wheelchair, the patron saint of big brains and robotic voices. Parents name their kids after you. Universities build statues. You're basically the Jesus of theoretical physics. But then, 2026 happens. Some files get released. The internet does what the internet does best. Connects dots that maybe shouldn't be connected. Suddenly, everyone's a detective. Reddit becomes the FBI. Your name appears on some very interesting travel manifests. People start asking uncomfortable questions about your scientific conferences. Turns out, your hobby of hanging out with billionaires on private islands doesn't age well in retrospect. The internet goes wild. You become a meme. Not the good kind of meme. The kind where people make jokes about chalkboards and question your research methods. Your image gets photoshopped into increasingly absurd situations. Stephen Hawking explains the theory of relativity to relatively young people. I mean, it's not the legacy you probably imagined. Here's the philosophical question you never got to solve. At what point does genius become its own prison? You understood black holes, but did you understand the hole you were digging? You spent your life proving that time is relative. Turns out, so is reputation. In your timeline, you died a hero. In our timeline, you're a meme about questionable scientific methodology. You are Stephen Hawking. You looked into the infinite cosmos and saw the beginning of everything. But maybe, just maybe, you should have looked a little harder at who was funding your telescope. The universe is expanding, Stephen. So is the list of people with some explaining to do. You either die a physicist or you live long enough to see yourself on the list. Remember, folks, this is all allegedly true. Allegedly. Stephen can't sue us. His voice box is permanently offline. And if the FBI comes asking questions, just tell them your internet connection is having technical difficulties.